10 deadliest landslide disasters in the world since 2000. Natural disasters can strike without warning, forever changing landscapes and lives in mere moments. Today we're examining the 10 most catastrophic landslides of the 21st century, not just to understand their devastating impact, but to learn crucial lessons that could save lives in the future. Before we begin, a moment of respect for all those affected by these disasters. These aren't just statistics, they represent communities, families, and individuals whose lives were forever changed. In the next few minutes, you'll witness nature's raw power at its most devastating. These aren't just landslides, they're moments that changed entire nations' approaches to disaster prevention. From sleeping villages wiped off maps to entire rivers stopped in their tracks, each disaster carries lessons written in earth and tears. But before we reach the most catastrophic landslide in modern history, please note that this video does not include two significant landslides that occurred in 2024, the Wayanad and Enga events. For information about these incidents, please refer to our separate video titled Top 10 Deadliest Natural Disasters of 2024. Let's start our countdown with a disaster that struck in the dark of night. Number 10, the Silent Dawn, Malin landslide, India, 2014. Reported fatalities, 151. Dawn had not yet broken on that fateful morning of July 30th. At 3:30 a.m., while the village of Malin slept peacefully, an entire hillside began to move. Within minutes, 44 houses and their sleeping residents were buried under 15 feet of mud. 151 lives were lost in what seemed like a heartbeat. What makes this disaster particularly tragic is how preventable it might have been. Years of deforestation and unplanned development had weakened the hillside's natural defenses, turning a monsoon rain into a killer. Number 9, the Monsoon's Wrath, Bangladesh landslides, 2017. Reported fatalities, 152. Sometimes, nature's fury comes not as a single blow, but as a series of devastating punches. Across 3 districts of Bangladesh, the land itself seemed to melt away as heavy monsoon rains triggered simultaneous landslides. Years of deforestation for settlement and agriculture had stripped away the Earth's natural defenses, leaving communities exposed. 152 lives were lost in a tragic demonstration of how human activities can amplify nature's destructive power. Number 8, the River's Rage, Sankoshi landslide, Nepal, 2014. Reported fatalities, 156. Imagine a landslide so massive it could stop a river in its tracks. That's exactly what happened in Nepal's Sindhupalchok district. The Sankoshi River, which had flowed freely for centuries, was suddenly dammed by an enormous wall of earth. As water backed up behind this natural dam, a new lake formed, beautiful but deadly. For 45 heart-stopping days, the Nepali army worked against time to prevent an even greater catastrophe. The potential burst of this newly formed lake that threatened thousands downstream. 156 lives were lost, but their efforts prevented the toll from climbing much higher. Number 7, the village that disappeared, Guatemala landslide, 2015. Reported fatalities, over 200. El Cambre Dos was a neighborhood like many others in Guatemala, until the earth itself betrayed its residents. A massive chunk of hillside, weakened by urbanization and prolonged rainfall, collapsed without mercy. Over 200 people lost their lives as homes were buried under nearly 50 feet of earth. The most heartbreaking part, experts had warned of the danger, but poverty and lack of alternatives kept many families in harm's way. Number 6, the Midnight Flood, Mocoa landslide, Colombia, 2017. Reported fatalities, over 300. At 3 a.m., while the city of Mocoa slept, 3 rivers surrounding the city rose in unison. What followed was apocalyptic, a cascade of mud, rocks, and trees that swept through residential areas with unstoppable force. Over 300 lives were lost in a disaster that taught us a crucial lesson about the importance of urban planning and early warning systems in mountainous regions. Number 5, the double tragedy, Badakhshan mudslides, Afghanistan, 2014. Reported fatalities, over 350. In the remote province of Badakhshan, tragedy struck not once but twice. When the first mudslide buried a village, hundreds of rescuers and onlookers rushed to help. Then, in a cruel twist of fate, a second, larger mudslide struck the same location. Over 350 lives were lost in this double disaster, many of them those who had come to help, a stark reminder of how the desire to help others can sometimes lead to further tragedy. Number 4. The Typhoon's Terror. Xiaolin Village Landslide, Taiwan, 2009. Reported fatalities, 471. When Typhoon Morakot stalled over Taiwan, it dumped an unprecedented 2.5 meters of rain in just a few days. The result? A landslide so massive it buried an entire village under 50 meters of mud and rock. 471 lives were lost, and Xiaolin Village was erased from the map, a grim reminder of how climate change is intensifying natural disasters. Number 3. The Perfect Storm, Southern Leyte Landslide, Philippines, 2006. Reported fatalities, 1,126. It was a disaster brewing for 10 days. As rain fell ceaselessly on Southern Leyte, no one knew that a small earthquake had further destabilized the already saturated limestone slopes above. When the mountainside finally collapsed, it claimed 1,126 lives, in what locals would later call the day the mountain moved. Number 2. The Midnight Mudslide, Gansu Landslide, China, 2010. Reported fatalities, 1,471. In the dead of night, on August 8th, residents of Zhouk County had no warning of what was coming. A wall of mud and debris, moving with frightening speed, filled an entire valley up to 20 feet deep. 1,471 lives were lost, many still in their beds. This disaster led to China implementing one of the world's largest reforestation programs, recognizing that decades of logging had left the region fatally vulnerable. We've now reached the most catastrophic landslide disaster of our time. What happened next would shock the world and forever change how we think about climate change, religious tourism, and disaster preparedness. In a sacred place where thousands gathered to seek divine blessings, nature unleashed its most devastating fury. Number 1. The Pilgrimage Tragedy, Kedarnath Landslide, India, 2013. Reported fatalities, 6,054. The deadliest landslide of our century struck at the worst possible time. As thousands of pilgrims gathered at the sacred Kedarnath shrine, the monsoon arrived weeks earlier than usual. What followed was catastrophic. Glacial lake outbursts and massive debris flows overwhelmed the town. With escape routes cut off and thousands of visitors present, 6,054 lives were lost in what became India's worst natural disaster since the 2004 tsunami. These disasters have taught us crucial lessons. Early warning systems save lives. Deforestation isn't just about losing trees, it's about losing lives. Urban planning isn't bureaucracy, it's survival. Climate change isn't just affecting our future, it's claiming lives today. If you live in a landslide-prone area, take time to learn your area's evacuation routes, create an emergency kit, stay informed about weather warnings, support sustainable development in your community. Remember, understanding these disasters isn't about fear, it's about preparation. Subscribe for more content on disaster preparedness and share this video to spread awareness, because in this new era of extreme weather, knowledge isn't just power, it's survival. Stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.